Friday, Fumble fam. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Now, in the first part of the show, we're going to be talking about various comparisons that have been made between different NBA athletes and the reactions that they're getting. But before we do all that, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with your friends. Now, here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris.
It's just you can find me everywhere at CK2K.
Happy Friday, you guys. It's your girl, Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. And to Chris Clark and all you gamers out there, happy 2K Day. Happy 2K Day.
It is 2K Day. I was up last night playing. Yes, I'm a little tired. I think that's why my internet's gone, because I used it all up. I used it all up last night because I was streaming. So yeah, that could be it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling we know what Chris is going to be doing all weekend this weekend. For those of you who are tuning in, it is a holiday weekend here in the States. So on Monday, we won't be going live, but we still have content coming for you throughout the weekend. We obviously have Weekend Zone. Britt and I have videos for you guys going up on Sunday, and then me and Jackie have videos going up on Monday. So make sure you tune in and check all of them. But we will not be going live on Monday at 11 a.m. So just so you all know. And now let's jump into these comparisons that are being made in the NBA world, you guys. So yesterday, Richard Jefferson tweeted a controversial statement about Giannis being a Scottie Pippen type of player, meaning he works best alongside another superstar, the way Scottie did with Michael Jordan. And that's when Jay Williams decided to jump in and stir the NBA pot even more. He said that LeBron James played the Pippen role to Dwayne Wade in Miami. So this is what his tweet said. So LeBron was a Pippen with D Wade once. Nothing wrong with that until you get over the hump. And then LeBron decided to clap back at Jay by tweeting, "Explain to me what the F I gotta do with this subject matter. I'm over here minding my damn business, preparing for Houston, and by the way, I ain't never been nobody but my damn self. Shit." Then Jay later clarified his comments and tweeted back, "I never stated you were anyone other than LeBron James. I know who you are, and I have also publicly stated where I stand on your place in history. I was describing a feat that you accomplished in order to be where you are today in relation to where Giannis currently is. We all learn and grow." So I do want to point out that being compared to Scottie Pippen is not like, I feel like it's being thrown around like it's this super insulting thing, but he was obviously a very important player in history. He's a 6-time champion, a Hall of Famer. To me, I think it's clear that LeBron's role in the league is not the same as Scottie's role in the league, but Jackie, I obviously have to go to you first. I just want to hear your response to Jay's comments. Do you see where he's coming from?
I mean, I think I'm going to co-sign on what King James said. You know, what he got to do with this subject matter? You know, I think it's the easy move. I think it's the easy move to throw LeBron in anything you're talking about to get the views, to get the clicks, and it is what it is. But, yeah, I don't really have a lot to say on it besides that because it's ludicrous to me. And, yeah, I co-sign on everything LeBron said.
Okay, Britt, I want to hear from you. Do you think that it's wrong to use this Scottie Pippen comparison as a negative? And also, do you agree with Jay Williams?
I don't agree with Jay Williams. Ever since Kobe passed away, I don't like comparing anybody to anybody. I think it's like silly to just continue on these comparisons. Scottie was a great player with or without. Obviously, I think Michael Jordan brought a lot more out of Scottie that we didn't see, or we probably wouldn't have seen in that case. But Scottie did go on to still continue and have a great career after he stopped playing with Michael Jordan, and he was an all-star in and of himself, you know. And I think it sucks that like people use Scottie as like this, like, oh, you're just like, you know, it's like you're the, I don't know, second class person in every situation. Yeah. And if Scottie was in any different era and any different team, he would be the star of that team, or like he would be one of the top players in the game if he like was in a different era, you know? So I just don't like it that it's negative, but I also don't like comparing anybody. I think saying that Giannis was Scottie and needs like a Michael Jordan to come in and like be that leader on the team, I think is like weird. I get it in an aspect of you need somebody that's like a little grittier than you, because Giannis is the nice guy. So I could see it in that aspect. Like maybe Giannis needs another guy on the team that's like, we talked about it on the Weekend Zone, which will air tomorrow. The fact that Giannis doesn't, he doesn't like take ownership of the game. He's just, I'm going to do whatever the coach says. Michael Jordan didn't do that. Kobe Bryant didn't do that. LeBron James doesn't do that. So I could see where he could come in and think like that. Like, oh, maybe we need another, like a guy that's grittier and be like, nah, this is my team. I'm gonna decide who I'm funding in this situation. So I could see that as the only comparison. But other than that, like I don't think it's wrong to be compared to Scottie Pippen, but we should stop comparing people like that.
Yeah, it's a different game. The game I always take those comparisons to then anyway, because the game is totally different now than it was then. You know what I mean? It was definitely more physical then. It was grittier then. People were getting beat up then. You can barely sneeze on people now. You know what I mean? So it's an entirely different game. I don't like the comparisons to that time frame.
You definitely can't sneeze on anybody now during COVID. Kicked out of the game.
Don't sneeze on people, kids.
Ejection.
Well played, Britt. Well played.
Well, I know we don't like the comparisons, but we are going to be getting into another one in the next story. So just bear with me on that one as well. But Chris, before we do that, I want to hear where you stand on this whole LeBron as D-Wade's sidekick debate. Do you agree? Do you think this is an accurate statement?
No, I don't agree, because Dwayne Wade was the one that debunked this whole entire thing from the jump. He said it. He claimed that I'm the one that's going to play number 2 to LeBron James, and he was open with that, and it worked. LeBron tried it. LeBron being, the homie that he is, he said, I'm coming to your house. I'm not going to interfere with what's going on. That didn't work. Dwayne Wade pulled him aside, and he let him know. Take over. Be LeBron James. So I don't think that is a fair comparison at all. I mean, this is open knowledge. This is not something that I'm just pulling out. Dwayne Wade said this in public. LeBron James has talked about it in public. So I think I'm definitely 100% with Brett on the whole fact that I agree with the sentiment that Giannis needs another guy that's not like Giannis. And I think that's why Chris Middleton and him don't work, because they're both nice guys. They're both great players, both all-stars, one MVP caliber. But the problem is you got 2 nice guys and 2 guys that are okay deferring to one another. That's not going to work. So in the sense where Richard Jefferson was talking about, here I am agreeing with Richard Jefferson again, in the sense where he's talking about that he needs a more alpha to be partnered with Giannis Antetokounmpo, I agree with that. Now, as far as LeBron James, Jay Williams just needs to just stay out of the conversation, because his was just out of pocket and was completely random, and I don't agree with Jay Williams at all. But on the initial thing with Richard Jefferson, I do agree with that, and I believe that he needs, whether it's somebody better or just somebody that's more aggressive but plays, at a similar level, like the all-star level, I think that's definitely something Giannis needs. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Meanwhile, Dennis Rodman is like, oh, if he doesn't need a nice guy, say he needs someone like me. Can I get in this conversation if you're going to just throw names out there?
Well, really, that's what I'm saying.
Dennis Rodman's like, use my name.
Yeah, compared to me, I'll take it.
I'll take that.
I think obviously though what people reacted so strongly to is that when you hear that Scottie Pippen reference, regardless of if this is accurate or not, it implies that you play second fiddle to a superstar. And I think I see where Richard Jefferson is coming from, but framing it like that, it makes it sound like Giannis would play second fiddle, LeBron played second fiddle. That doesn't, I don't know. I could see why people reacted so intensely to that and so strongly. But let's move on, you guys. Let's talk about Dame and who he is over being compared to. So we've heard the Dame Steph Curry similarities a lot, especially in the bubble. But he's just done with it. He's annoyed by it, or not even annoyed by it, but he just doesn't think that it's necessary at all. Exactly what you guys have been saying. And I sort of get where he's coming from. We've seen in the bubble, we saw him just play on another level, so intense, and instead of just appreciating what he was doing on the court.
Is that a sneeze, Jackie?
I muted it.
It was not anybody. It was not anybody.
So no germs came across. I muted it. It didn't even come across with the sound. Everybody's fine. There was no germs.
My hand sanitizer.
Oh my God.
I got mine on deck. Oh yeah, no, it's right here, ready to go. I'm with you, Devin. Let's get it.
Mine is over there out of reach. I can't even get to it. I can't even reach it. Okay,
nope.
wait, give me some, Devin. Give me some.
Nah, I got mine. You're nasty.
I muted it. No germs. No germs.
That's a foul, ref.
And Britt just wasn't gonna let it slide. She was like, no.
Yeah.
All right, well, Jackie, I'm going to get back to my news story because I was rudely interrupted by that sneeze. So.
I hit mute.
Okay, well,
oh my God.
Let's talk about this, you guys. So, being compared to Steph, I need to gather my thoughts again. Being compared to Steph is not a bad thing at all. A lot of people consider him to be the best shooter in the league, and it's actually a compliment to say that you're like him. But Dame is obviously a star in his own right, so I'm sure hearing his name and Steph's name tied together over and over again can feel a little bit, I guess, invalidating is the word. So Dame reacted to a tweet that said, quote, "Why do people have to compare you to Steph? Why people can't just appreciate two great players doing their thing without trying to create a comparison?" And then Dame responded saying, quote, "Comparison is the thief of joy. The world we live in loves to steal that." So even though being likened to Steph is actually, I think, a positive thing, Dame wants to be remembered as his own player and not somebody who just followed in the footsteps of another star, which I completely get. So, Britt, I want to ask you, is Dame being too sensitive about the Steph Curry comparisons, or do you get where he's coming from?
No, and to my point that I said the other day, just like you would never say anybody is better than you when you're currently playing somebody in the league, I feel the same here. Like, don't compare me to somebody who's a couple years older than me, barely, and we're in the same league, playing the same game. Like, don't do that. Like, I think, like, it's even, I mean, the disrespect you see with, like, being compared to, like, Scotty or Jordan or any of the whatever things from before, like, those are two different eras of groups, you know, comparing within your own era, like literally, and it's not even like, oh, comparing LeBron to maybe a Zion or like what, like those guys, LeBron could be Zion's dad, you know, like those are differences in age, but like Dame and Steph are both in their 30s. Like, don't do that. Don't compare them. They're like totally, and I don't think they play the same at all, personally. Just so because I know how to bounce basketball as a point guard and I know how to shoot, then now I'm like somebody else and I score a lot of points. Yeah. That isn't even that's what you're supposed to do. Just because they're doing what their position requires them to do and they're doing other compared to each other, that's silly. I don't even think they have the same type of game at all. Like, that's just weird to me.
Chris, would you go so far as to say that being compared to somebody else is a thief of joy, like what Dame said, or do you think he should just kind of enjoy being named up there with one of the best?
I love that quote. When I saw that tweet, I was just like, "Yo, this dude is just rapping on and off the mic." I'm saying that was just a bar. That was a bar. Like, no, it's 100% fact because I say this all the time about prospects, you know, because we do that game all the time, and it's mainly because a lot of people don't know who the kids are, so it's easier to be like, "Oh, this kid is a lot like De'Aaron Fox." So, and I've never been a big fan of that, but I understand it, and I think that's the same thing in this instance. And I agree with Britt. Like, I never understood the comparison between Damian Lillard and Steph Curry. The only thing that they both can do is they can shoot from well beyond the 3-point line. Other than that, that's it. I mean, I don't know what the conversation is. So, no, I am 100% on that bar by Damian Lillard. I love that. I agree 100%. Let them live. Let them be their own entities.
Yeah, for sure. And then, Jackie, I just want to hear from you. I could ask you the same question. Do you agree with Dame? Where do you stand? So fill me in on that.
I agree with Britt and Chris. I've never looked at them as the same person at all because they play an entirely different game. And I think when you're talking about comparisons, like any kid that's coming up right now who looks up to LeBron and like tries to mimic his play, and we know that we kind of follow his high school and his college career, and he's always talking about LeBron. Or then once he gets to the league, then you could say, oh, look, he's like LeBron, because now they're like Britt said, they're far enough away. Not only that, we know that he's tried to mimic his game after this person, so then that makes sense. But when you have two people that literally play two different styles of basketball, and like Chris said, they just shoot threes efficiently. Steph is not nearly as aggressive as Dame at all. It's not even the same. It's beyond the realm of possibility to me to put them in the same category. So again, it's just one of those things that people just need something to talk about. But this wasn't it. This is a stealer of joy for sure.
And then just before we move on, so Dame was obviously doing like a Q&A, so it wasn't necessarily a clap back, but we did see LeBron clap back. Do you think in these instances it is best to speak up like that, or should these athletes say less, like we like to say on the show? Chris, I'm going to start with you on that one.
Dame just had time. I have no problem with it. Dame had time, and he was responding to some comments. I'm with it. It's not like that's something that he does all the time on the regular. He had some time today. 2K's coming out, so a lot of people are going to be talking about Damian Lillard regardless. So, yeah, had the time, say what you need to say, and, yeah, because cover athlete. That's the reason why I said that. But, like, yeah, I have no problem with it. Go ahead, talk your talk, because we know it's not a regular thing for him.
Right. Well, Britt, what did you think about LeBron clapping back? Are you supportive of that, or should he say less?
I know what LeBron was saying, that is correct information, but I'm just like, you have a day before, or now it's time to get ready for Houston, so just don't even message anybody and just get ready for Houston. Like, obviously, I know maybe earlier, if this would have happened earlier in the week where they didn't even know who they were playing yet and blah, blah, but he already knew he was playing. It's Houston, the game's today, so I feel like he probably just shouldn't even have said anything. Like, just get off Twitter. You got to focus on your game. You got a game tomorrow. Just energy there, and don't worry about what everybody's saying about you being a Scottie Pippen or whatever. Worry about trying to win a championship right now. So I think he should have just not said anything in this moment.
Okay. And Jackie, I know you love a clap back. You don't like to let
I always have time.
I know. I know that on the panel I'm like the sweet, like, don't say anything girl, but man, if you really piss me off on social media or on Twitter, I can't keep my mouth shut, or I can't keep my keyboard finger from going. But tell me what you think about the clapbacks, about responding to the haters, or kind of dragging somebody online.
I think because we usually don't see LeBron do too many clapbacks. We usually don't see Dame do too many clapbacks either, So I think this is just a testament to the time we're in right now. Dame's at home, now, and he probably is looking at the game like, okay. And so obviously he's probably spending a little bit more time on social media. And LeBron is probably just out of his routine of whatever he normally does too, because the bubble doesn't lend itself to any normalcy. So I just think that this is literally, I got time today. And so, I'm good with it. It's a once in a while thing. If they had time, I'm good with it.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up Need to Know News. So, Chris, take us into the post-up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize, but I'm coming to you guys fuzzy today. But today's post-up quarantine edition is starting off with a lot of Kyle Lowry, because Kyle Lowry and the Raptors, they won in very dramatic fashion in Game 3 yesterday. We're going to show the play in a second, but I need for you guys to see Kyle Lowry's face before we even get to the play, because look at the happiness and joy in Kyle Lowry's face. Can we get the second one so we get that zoom in? Let's see. We got to get closer. Kyle Lowry, can we see it closer? Where is it? We got another picture. No? Yes.
Oh, God. Zoom out.
Can we get closer? No, that's close.
No.
But no, it's just so funny because I don't know if you guys watched the game, but post game, they had asked the question, or here's the play right now. But yeah, they had asked Kyle Lowry how he felt about the play, and Kyle Lowry gave like this, real professional response, talking about, now we in the moment, that play was great, but on to the next. But then this picture started going viral after the fact. It's like, yeah, Kyle Lowry, you saying one thing, but you looking real excited right there. But yeah, I thought it was funny. But anyways, yeah, look at that face. I need that as an icon on my Twitter or something like that. That face is hilarious. Terrifying. But yeah, now without further ado, let me show you this incredible play, because there's a great pass and better shot from OG Anunoby. So here's the play.
He's switching everything back here. Marcus Smart's going to stay up high.
Look at nobody on OG. Nobody on OG.
Series on the
what happened?
Anunoby got it off, and it goes.
Look at the swag.
Is the question.
You too young to be that swaggy like that. 0.5.
Awesome.
0.5 seconds. OG too swaggy. Too young to be that swaggy, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's too young to be doing that.
Why is he too young to be doing that? That's that young swag. Get it. I love it.
I'm with it. No, I'm saying I'm with it. I'm just saying, like, who taught you to be like that? Go ahead, OG. No, I'm with it. I'm with it.
That was the shot he made in the second half of the game. The only shot he made in the whole second half of the game.
Saving it for
that's crazy.
And Kyle said it wasn't supposed to go to him. Like, Kyle said it was not supposed to go to him in that situation. And then he just saw him wide open, threw it right over Taco. Like, and it reminds me of that moment with Derek Fisher when it was like the 0.6 seconds or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
4. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I didn't think there was any way that it could happen. Like, literally, when like the Celtics made that like dunk or whatever, I was like, that's game. That's point. They left only 0.5 seconds. No way.
Yeah.
And there was a way. And they didn't even go for the tie. They went to win. Like, woo.
OG, boy, I'm with it. I loved it. Yeah, and like you just mentioned, that Kemba play was ridiculous. And I'm just like, game over. That's it, 3-0. Because that pass, and he brought it to the end of the shot clock. I'm like, that's it, game over. But no, OG said, nah, I'm calling game. But we're moving on off of that. So shout out to the Raptors for that. But there was another moment that happened between Kemba Walker and Kyle Lowry, because we know Kyle Lowry is very animated when it comes to his referees and his flopping and whatnot. And there was a moment here where he was just going over the top, explaining to the referee why a foul should have been called on him. But I need you guys to pay attention to Kemba Walker's reaction in this video. Can you get the video? Look at Kemba. Like, it wasn't all that, my guy. Like, what? Kyle Lowry doing a whole movie scene, and they're like, was I there for that? I don't remember any of that happening. That's hilarious.
That is the best. Now that's a meme right there. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Kevin's face is hilarious.
This reminds me of like when my big brother was always telling on me, and he would tell something I did. That's the face I'd be making at him. Like, I didn't even do all that.
It wasn't even all that. Yeah. That's the exact same thing. Oh my goodness! All right, well, Jackie Ray, it officially happened. I know you jumped on the bandwagon late, but it is officially there. And Ja Morant, ladies and gentlemen, is officially the Rookie of the Year. Almost unanimous. One person didn't give that vote to Zion Williamson. Jackie, I don't know how you got in there, but one vote went to Zion Williamson for that. All right.
I jumped ship weeks ago. It was not me.
Okay.
It was not me.
Just making sure that was just make sure that you were still on board. All right, but yeah, no, almost unanimous. Rookie of the Year, Ja Morant got his award, and he, a lot like his mama, he had no fear showing off how excited he was about a big moment like that. So this video came out of him dancing, and it was he's so wild. Well deserved. And then right after that, because this is right after he found out the news, and right after that went right to Twitter to show off the hardware with some bling. And there it is. The Rookie of the Year got the 12 chain on there. Shout out to Ja Morant. Yeah, well deserved. I got some beef with the voting, but say what?
You ain't got the picture of the shoes? He wore the Jordan 1s, the Rookie of the Year shoes.
I did. You're so right. He did. He definitely did. And you're right. I was about to dance. So you're right. He did.
Without even saying anything. But can I ask a question? I was yesterday years old when I found out Ja Morant had a daughter, and I don't
really. Wait, the same. Really? Well, the same thing happened when we found out Chris had a daughter. What is happening?
No.
Oh God!
What happened?
I'm right now years old.
I'm right. Oh, Dev just found out. Now, I only found out because he's on a show called NBA Rooks, and he talked about it there. I was like, oh, well, okay. Yeah. And that's how I found out at the beginning of the season.
Girl is gorgeous, too. I started just looking at social media. I was like, what's the baby mom look like? She cute? Like, I was just like, okay, John, get your little young life together.
Man, John had a year, man.
I thought you was going to post a picture he took with his little girl and the trophy. That was the cutest. Did you guys see that? Y'all didn't see that
picture? The shoots, yeah. Yeah. But shout out to Ja Morant, Rookie of the Year. Sorry, I apologize. Okay, I was so bitter about freaking RJ Barrett only getting one third place vote. I'm so pissed about that, but that's the conversation for another day. But yeah, shout out to Ja Morant, well deserved. I'm glad that it was almost unanimous. I thought it was really going to be close, but I'm glad it wasn't. So shout out to Josh.
I'm mad that it wasn't, Chris. I'm really mad that it wasn't.
You wanted it to be close?
No, that it wasn't unanimous.
I'm mad that it wasn't unanimous. Like that one. Oh, there we are.
Oh, there it is. Yay.
There you go. There you go.
Cute as that.
There it is.
So
we found
cute.
it. Look at that. We on the spot.
That's
adorable.
But yeah, I know that it wasn't unanimous. Who was that one person that voted? Because really,
I don't know. I've been looking.
None got second place.
No.
So there was one person that thought Zion deserved first place, and everyone else put him at third. Like he got like 37 second place votes. This went to Kendrick. None anyway. Ugh. He could have been the unanimous rookie of the year. I just liked the ring of that, you know. But Jackie,
and it would have been deserved. I'm telling you, it's Jackie. I'm telling you, it's Jackie. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. You over there sneezing on people and Mike.
I hit mute. Y'all gonna stop putting it. Yeah, it was Devin. And it was an accident. She was trying to do John Morant, and then she sneezed and accidentally filled in Zion. That's what happened.
Now you pulling a Kyle Lowry. Now you added too much information that wasn't there. Look at you pulling a Kyle Lowry. You added too much. No. Devin looking at you like, no, that's not what it was. Anyways, moving on. Back to that same Boston-Toronto game, and staying on the topic of babies, we had a whole damn daycare at the Boston and Toronto game because we talk about how families are in attendance now and it's the second round, so now they're able to watch the games. We had NBA daycare going on, all the kids, everybody doing what they got to do, and it was a cool moment. I'm just trying to figure out, are they all Raptor like babies? Like I just want to know, is it mixed? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. But this picture was funny to me. I saw this, I was like, okay, the families are officially in. Everybody's good luck charms are in the building. Let's see if it worked. But hey, all right, there's that.
I was looking for labeling the babies. Label the babies so we know what team they belong
to. This one says Van Fleet. This is yours.
That's so great.
Yeah, NBA daycare. So we have somebody who is a fan of the Big Face Coffee, aka Jimmy Butler's coffee in the bubble. Now we talked about how every size is $20. Well, by look of this picture, it looks like Myers Leonard got the small. So I don't know if it's just too much to handle, but he spent $20 on the Big Face Coffee by Jimmy Butler, and Myers Leonard's a fan. You can say it right there. He put, I can confirm it. He added Jimmy Butler, hashtag Big Face Coffee. So it's looking like it's a hit, but my question is it a hit to anybody outside of Heat players? Because we know Myers Leonard is a teammate of his. I want to know. I want to see like a CP3, or I want to see like a LeBron posting a picture of the coffee. But maybe they're also smart because they watched the Michael Jordan documentary and knew not to touch no coffee by Jimmy Butler is definitely the one that would make sure you do something to somebody else's coffee, especially if you know you got to play against them. So I just realized that in my head that I freaked my no one's probably drinking his coffee. So I take back that. Right. I take it back. So no, you stay away from Jimmy Butler's coffee. But yeah, as long as it's working, I really feel like this is something that Jimmy Butler might take past the bubble and might turn into something else over in Miami. Might have a Big Face Coffee franchise or something like that. But hopefully the prices aren't the same. I don't drink coffee, but Devin said that she would pay the $20 for the coffee. Right? Am I right, Devin?
You know, I have paid a lot of money for coffee in desperate times. So I would if there was no other option. But, you know, I'm like such a bougie gal. I need my oat milk. I need my stevia. So I would pay the $20. I admit it.
All right, well, hopefully we'll see if Big Face Coffee makes an appearance outside of the bubble, and then Devin will be our official taste test. Let us know if it's worth the $20 for sure. And then this next one right here this one was weird. This one was crazy, weird, scary, confusing, all those words in one. But we had a moment, like we said, Brent mentioned, today is 2K Day. It officially started at midnight for us West Coast folk. It started at them. That's when I got on. But there's people who were playing it earlier on, and I mean like yesterday morning. And dude was one of them who was playing an early version of 2K, and he was streaming it. But then this moment was caught on stream, and it was pretty scary. Forget the video, yeah. See, just mind his business.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so and we can just play the rest without the sound. Yeah, there's so many things about this, but yeah, he got robbed midstream and it's still going. He's going back and forth. He's telling him, I ain't got no bread, I got nothing, I have nothing. That's what he keeps telling him over and over again. For whatever reason, dude proceeded to take my guy's shirt off. I don't know if he was trying to get the chain and he took the shirt with the chain. I don't know what's going on. I can say that he did. If you watch the entire clip, he did. He was okay. He was unharmed. Everything was fine. I mean, other than the fact that these guys broke into his house, don't know what was taken. But here's the thing. There's a whole PlayStation and webcam, and they saw the controller on the seat. They see the PlayStation that's there. They didn't take that. There's so many things that were walked past. So there's so many questions, and a lot of people online were thinking that this was staged and that this was fake. And to be honest, I saw it. I'm like, whoa, scary. But then I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? Because when at the end they walk away, and it's like, it's almost like he's like, all right, I'm gonna see you guys later. Locks the door and goes on and turns off the stream. It's a weird moment, but I'm ultimately gonna chalk it down for this is definitely real because I mean, how is a robbery supposed to look? You know what I mean? Like there's no black and white on a robbery. You like this, and then this happens, and then this happens, and that is a complete robbery. So I'm not gonna chalk this up to being fake. I think it's definitely real. But seeing the footage is happening. This is all happening in real time, or not real time, obviously, but it happened while it was live. And you're gonna see they're about to leave right now, and they don't leave with anything. I mean, they got the chain off the dude's neck, but they don't really take anything. You can make sure you got his knife back, and then my man tried to close his door. And then that was the end of that. So the internet had a lot of questions. I think it was definitely real. Devin, I want to come back to you seeing all that transpire. What were your thoughts on this? Like I said, he's fine. He's safe. Got beat up a little bit, but he's okay. But do you think that this was something that was for publicity, or do you think he was definitely robbed?
God, it's tough to say because his reaction when they busted through the door seemed very legit to me. But then it is kind of odd that they wouldn't take the PlayStation and whatever else goes, like the monitor or whatever else you would use. That seems like the thing that they would naturally gravitate towards because you could sell that for money. So I don't know. I mean, I want to believe that somebody wouldn't stage something like this because that just seems like not good karma.
I would say that too, but there's just a viral video of a dude staging a kidnapping with his roommates, where they're in a Zoom call in class, and his roommates came in dressed the same way, and they kidnapped him, and it was announced later on that it was all a joke, but everybody in the Zoom call was like, "Oh my God, Timmy! Oh no, Timmy!" But it ended up being a whole stage thing. So not Timmy. Sorry, that's the first thing that came to my brain. But so that's why it's so hard to not put it past it. But like you, it's not. It's not fake.
It seems like something the Paul brothers would do. Jake and Logan Paul. I could definitely see them staging a kidnapping, a burglary, whatever. Right. But I'm gonna give this guy the benefit of the doubt because that's in my nature, and that it was real. And I'm glad that he's okay.
He's all right. Right. Jackie Ray, I'm gonna come to you. I'm not gonna go to you, Britt, because Britt is releasing the video on this, so you're gonna see her opinion in that video. So I want to come to you, Jackie. I want to hear your opinion. Do you think that this is? How do you feel about that? Because I heard your reaction was genuine, like oh. But do you think, seeing the entire thing, do you think that this is something that was real, or do you think it was staged?
So I live in Hollywood, so every time I hear keys jingling, I'd be looking at my door like, because I'm always paranoid that somebody's going to try to break into my apartment because I live on the first floor. So that's probably why I had the oh no reaction. His reaction, I'm with Devin, seemed kind of genuine. But I know everyone's like, oh well, why wouldn't they take his stuff? I watch a lot of crime TV. I know I've mentioned that several times on this show, and it's not beyond the realm of possibility. So one of the things I posted in the chat was, I bet you he's cheated on his girl or did something crazy to his girl, and those are her brothers coming to let him know, because I think that it seemed like he recognized the voice, because there was a moment when he was getting punched, and then he was kind of like, it wasn't like the fearful okay, it was like, oh, okay, I understand what's going on, kind of okay. So I think it's somebody he knows. Maybe it's not his girls, but I think he definitely knew them, and I don't think it was a robbery. I think it was you gonna learn today is what I think it was. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Well, like I said, stay tuned Stay tuned. If you guys better be subscribed because Britt Johnson's
Britt says
video
she
on this.
absolutely doesn't agree though. She in the chat she says she does not agree.
Hey, do you want to talk on it now? We can have you. Do you speak on it right now if you like?
I just want to talk about a different part of it. So I have an opinion in the video as far as like thinking it's real or not real, which I think it's real. Alert, but I go into that in the video. But on this part, I want to say that is different that I don't mention in the video. A lot of times when people, like to Jackie's point, when people rob you, they know you. You know, I feel like they didn't take anything else because they came for a specific thing, which I believe was that chain. If you hear the video, which we didn't play the rest of the sound of it, there is his girl is in the background and she's like yelling and saying stuff or whatever. At the very end of the video, she starts crying. The guy tells the guy when he's like, before he's punching him, the guy says, yo, my daughter's in the house. I don't have any money. I don't have any bread, but I got you. I got what I got for you or whatever. I don't have no bread though. And I think he was getting a specific thing, which is why they let him get up to go get it. Because he knew who those people were. Most times than not, it's somebody that you know. It's somebody that you owe something to. He could have taken some from somebody else and they're coming back to get it. I don't know, but it definitely was a situation that they were coming into that home for a specific thing because they asked, like, where is it or whatever. Like, and he's like, I don't got bread, but I got it. I'll get it. Let me get up and I'll get it for you or whatever. So they were like looking for something specific, which is why they didn't take like the PlayStation, all this stuff. They came for a certain thing.
They came for something else. Right.
Yeah. Something that was taken from them or whatever the case is, because he didn't want to go call the cops right after either. So I think
that's what I'm saying.
Stole something from them, and they came to get it
back. He knew he was wrong. Right. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
See all these possibilities.
Because when he walked up to the
and everything, his daughter, you could hear her crying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
the rest of us would have been panicked when they walked out. The rest of us would have been like all over the place.
Let him out.
Would have known. And then he double checked the lock, like, I hope this works next time, but he was just way too calm. He definitely knew who they were and they knew him. I don't know if it was personal or if it was like Britt said, maybe he stole something from them, but it was definitely personal.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, regardless, it was crazy nonetheless, but that's it for me on Post Up. That mystery. Yep. Man.
Yep.
Very scary. But yeah, actually, to your guys' point, when you talk about his reaction, I've been in situations where I think somebody, like I had one time where somebody was running towards me and I thought it was dark at night and it scared me. And that alone made me like so shaken up and I was like crying and he was really just running past me. It wasn't.
Oh, Devin.
Okay, bye.
He was actually jogging. And I hear somebody jogging behind me. I don't play with people. You need to stay a distance away from me. I don't like anybody by me. And he's just running, and I hear somebody like running towards me. So as he's coming by me, I whacked him with my purse, and it was just a regular jogger.
Jogging.
I don't play. Like, do not get it. All my brothers know never to scare me because I will punch you in the face first. Like, I'm reacting. I'm going to mace you. I always have my mace in my hand. I'm going to attack you immediately. I'm not going to ask any questions. Like,
that is ridiculous.
No, Britt, I'm with you. You gotta protect yourself. Women are more vulnerable than men. So, Britt, we're the same way. If I'm alone at night, my pepper spray is in my hand. I'm thinking about my different. Yeah. Jackie,
I just don't walk around that scared. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because I've taken enough self-defense courses in my day and I feel like but I'm just not finna live my life like, oh God. Like, I'm not about to do all that. Like,
hey, I just respect that you reacted with action. So, like, at least you know you are. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey.
So close to me that they can like grab me. Like, I need to have a running head start
Run around.
to anybody. So if you're
I get that.
walking past me in the street on the sidewalk and you get to a point where you're about to come by me, I'll walk in the middle of the street if I have to go around you because you ain't gonna just be able to grab me.
Not today. Not today.
I'm not like now. I will if I do hear somebody scream and then they run, then I will run too. I'm not asking questions as to why you scream and ran. Like if I hear somebody scream and run, then I'm running too. I'll run a whole mile before I be like, why were you running? But I'm I'm not playing with that.
All right. Well, on that note, Jackie, tell us what we know to do.
We're not about to walk close to Brit, and we're not about to scream and run. That's what we've learned today. I think that should be my whole entire segment. But what I am not going to do this Friday is entertain willfully ignorant comments from shucking and jiving Chuck or Katie's brother. Both men seem to take offense to Stephen A. Smith, myself, Nick Wright, and countless other people who have a problem with Jacque Vaughn being overlooked and Steve Nash, who is a white guy, getting the head coaching job. We think it's disrespectful. And believe it or not, Katie's brother actually proved his point in a clapback. But before we get to that, let's get to shucking and jiving Chuck. So, Leo, can you throw that video up there?
Especially when you have to talk about something serious like race, you can't be full of crap. You got to be honest and fair. So listen, like I say, Steve Nash is a great player and a good dude, but I was so disappointed on these guys. So I said, dude, black guys have done this before. Now, do we need more black coaches in the NBA? Yes. Do we need more black coaches in college football? Yes. Do we need more black coaches in pro football? Yes. But this wasn't the right time to set it today. Good luck to Steve Nash.
Okay, well, he's got a point because there have been black coaches. Britt talked about that yesterday. So we know that has happened. However, shucking and jiving Chuck, this is the time to talk about it, because if we're not going to make it about black and white, then let's just make it about the math, because numbers don't lie. But if you don't want to take it from me, then take it from sports reporter and NBA insider Tam Hasbrow. I always say his name wrong, but he tweeted this. He said in 2012-2013, there were 14 black coaches in the NBA. When the playoffs started, there were 8. Now it's 5. Clippers' Doc Rivers, Atlanta's Lloyd Price, Cleveland's J.B. Bickerstaff, Detroit's Dwayne Casey, and Phoenix Monty Williams. Still openings in New Orleans, Chicago, and Indiana. Which, by the way, if I was Jacque Vaughn, I would try to get one of those 3 open positions, because what I'm not going to do is sit up here and train a guy that knows nothing about the position when I've already done my due diligence and proven that I should have the position. I'm not doing that. But now let's get to Katie's brother, because he literally proves everyone who has a problem with this right. He tweeted, he says, man, people can hire who the hell they want, man. Cut it out with the black-white argument. When you own your own house, you can choose who you want to be in it. The F, cut it out. He's actually exactly right, because when you own your own house, you can choose who you want to be in it. The NBA is made up of 30 teams. Only 3 have minority owners, not majority, minority owners. Black minority owners, by the way. Not, like I said, not majority, even though the league is 80% black, but all of the majority owners in the league are white. So yes, Tony Durant, when you own your own house, you can put whoever you want in it. And like Stephen A. says, the optics of this one does not look good, because time and time again, the NBA has proven that they want to seem like they're making this forward progress, but when the time comes to hire a qualified black head coach, they fail to do so. I don't care if KD and Kyrie wanted Steve Nash. The point is, this decision seems like it's easy for the NBA, because it's easy for them to pass over qualified black men for the job because they've done it too long. So Chuck wished Steve Nash good luck. I don't have a problem with that. I personally don't have any ill will towards Steve Nash. However, I do want him to receive the same treatment that oftentimes black head coaches get if they are unsuccessful. So if he walks into the team that Jacque Vaughn was instrumental in building, and now he has a healthy KD, he has a healthy Kyrie, and they have a non-playoff season, and there are no rumors of him possibly losing his job and, oh, he needs time. If that's the narrative that Steve Nash gets, then I'm going to double down on my point right now, because that's not the narrative that most black coaches get when they fall on failing seasons. So feeling aside, this one just doesn't make mathematical sense to me. But I didn't have a question on this because I thought we'd be running low on time, but we're not. So Devin, really quick, do you feel like people are overreacting and maybe this isn't a black-white issue? Maybe it is just Steve Nash getting the job because KD and Kyrie wanted him to, but even if they did, do you still use that as a reason to overlook a qualified person who's already been doing the job?
I don't think people are overreacting to this at all. I totally understand why people think it's shocking. I mean, like I was talking about yesterday on our live show, Jacque Vaughn proved that he is completely competent and capable of leading that team and doing a good job with it. So I do feel he was overlooked. That isn't to say that Steve Nash is not qualified or that he's not going to be able to make a positive impact. But I completely understand why people are wondering if race has played a role in it. We've seen that happen time and time again throughout NBA and NFL history, where Black coaches or qualified Black candidates are overlooked in favor of white candidates. So for me, I mean, I can't really say if it is a race issue or not, but I can say that I see where people are coming from when they talk about it in that frame.
Yep. And I'm usually the nice one. Well, let me take this back. I'm usually the hard one on people on this one. Britt's usually the nice one, but she's in the chat and saying it's not even a playoff situation. If he doesn't win the East, then bye-bye, Steve Nash. So I was the nice one in this situation. So I'm a little excited about that one because I just said playoffs. So there you go, Steve. All right. So let's move on to other scandalous news, and let's get to Dan Snyder and the Washington franchise. Because between the decades of saying he would never change the racist name and then the countless talks of sexual harassment and misogynistic ways that we've heard that he has, people are saying that the team won't actually change unless ownership changes. But to me, in my opinion, what we're not going to do is think that Dan Snyder wouldn't rather burn the franchise to the ground than actually sell it, because he's pretty much told us that that's the case. But there's 20 former employees who have now hired an attorney, and they feel like the only way to change that franchise is to get rid of Dan Snyder. Now, we know the franchise hired Jason Wright, who's the first Black team president in NFL history. They also have a Latino head coach in Ron Rivera. And now they've just have no nickname instead of actually changing the name, which actually kind of proves Dan Snyder just really doesn't want to change the name. But this has all been done to hopefully kind of show the world that they're moving forward, that they do want change, that they're not the Washington franchise of old. But again, these 20 employees are saying, no, that's not it, that the only way this franchise is going to change is if Dan Snyder is gone. They say they want more accountability. Their attorney is Lisa Banks, and she said, quote, well, it's certainly not about making a hire or changing a policy. The tone, the culture comes from the top. And here, I don't see us having meaningful change without a change in ownership. Lisa Banks and her co-counsel, Deborah Katz, have sent a letter to Roger Goodell. They want Snyder suspended pending an outcome of an independent investigation. And according to the letter, they want Snyder removed as owner depending on the outcome of that investigation. Now, obviously, I don't have a problem with this because with regards to our own country, I said none of us can really expect change because sadly, our country was founded on racism. So unless we just blow up the foundation, I don't think it's ever going to really change. So I actually respect this standpoint from these 20 employees and their attorney. Like, if you really want to see change in this specific franchise, then you have to get rid of the guy that's kind of cultivated this sexist and racist mantra for such a long time. So I'm not mad at that at all. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think it would be, they would have to do it twofold. They would not only have to get Dan Snyder out, but they would have to make sure that if the team went up for sale, it would have to go to sale to someone who, he can't just pass it off to a family member. He can't pass it off to business associates because otherwise he'd still be involved. And then you're just changing our perception of it. You're not really changing who actually is running the organization. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. But Chris, I just want to ask you, do you think that Dan Snyder selling the team is actually going to happen, number one? And if it does, what would be the way that would work? Do you think he could just pass it off to his kids or a business associate and then the NFL be like, oh, we've done our due diligence?
Oh, man. See, and I hate that because that gives him so much power, but it's almost like that. I feel like that's the direction they'll end up going. Now, do I think he's going to lose? No, I don't think he's going to sell the team. Again, I say this every single time. Do you know who owns the New York Knicks? The thing is, you find out that these owners, unless you absolutely have video footage, audio footage, and even then with like what I'm talking about with the Clippers and Donald Stern, like with that, like that was even a push until Adam Silver finally just dropped the hammer and said, all right, he's gone. So I almost feel like I don't know, but I feel like that what happened is what you said is if he is gone, it's going to be a situation where it's going to be passed on to somebody in the family. So technically he still has some kind of control on what is going on with that team because that's just who Dan Snyder is. But it just needs to happen. The organization is just, it needs to happen. There needs to be that change. But I don't know, man. When it comes to owners and changing ownership, I'm very skeptical on that anyways. Look at my basketball team.
Yeah, and Britt said in the chat too that they could force him to sell the team. They could, but I just don't see outside of, like you said, some sort of video or audio where it just shows him actually being completely malicious. And I just don't see the NFL. The NFL has been the slowest. Right.
Yeah, no, if those articles weren't enough, like, come on. You know what I mean? All those reports and everything we were hearing just last week or the week before, he still got the job, and it's almost like no one's even blinking an eye on that. So I don't know.
Right.
So I didn't mean to cut off. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. I get that he's trying to do the optics of like, oh, look, that's that one racist that says, I have a black friend. Now he's like, I'm a racist, but I have a black president, so it's terrible. I just don't see it changing. But I applaud these women and these 20 employees for trying to make it change. So there's that. But that's all I got for what we not gonna do, because now it's time for Britt's takes.
Britt's takes.
All right, guys, we're going to continue with some NFL. In that situation, I kind of felt like, maybe they should, all the Washington current people in the front office and current players should probably boycott and say we're not showing up until, that happened, because that's what really happened with the Clippers. Donald Sterling wasn't technically out until the Clippers players threatened to boycott the playoffs. So maybe that's a situation that'll happen, and maybe they don't need to boycott, because now the next question is, will there actually be an NFL season? Will the NFL season continue? Will it last throughout a whole 16-game season? Will that happen? Well, the NFL, personally, I believe has done honestly a good job right now. They've actually continued business pretty regularly. The only difference we've really seen was obviously there's no preseason, and then they had a virtual draft, which actually the virtual draft was amazing for them, that they had so many more views on this year's draft than they've had in previous years. So the virtual draft went off without a hitch. It was great. It was actually better business for the NFL. And then these preseason games that they're missing is really the only big thing that we have seen. I spoke with some players that are on teams that were in either current hot spots or former hot spots, for instance, the Seattle Seahawks, as well as the Los Angeles Chargers. And the guys that I spoke with on both of those teams, because I was like, oh, how is, training camp going? Like, how does it feel? Is it weird? All of them have said they don't really notice a difference. The only thing that they really feel that's different is they're just doing virtual meetings most of the time, instead of, the big meetings where they're all kind of just like in the little stadium seating and the coaches just sitting there watching or talking to them or whatever. They've all been doing that via Zoom. But other than that, they said practices are almost exactly the same, because the players don't necessarily have to wear masks while they're actually practicing. And then walkthroughs, wearing a mask during walkthrough doesn't make that big of a difference to them. But yeah, they said everything's pretty much the same. When they walk in, they get tested in the morning time or whatever before they get started. And that's it. Like, everything else has gone off just as it was before. And the NFL's done really good with their positive. Like, of course, a couple weeks ago, we had that crazy situation where there were all of those, I think it was like 80-something positive tests, but then they ended up being false positives. And so they were actually negative, all those players. And then that same week, when they actually did get their real tests back that weren't like tainted or messed up or whatever, everybody tested negative but one player. And then this week, there's only been 3 players that have tested positive. So with the NFL being, with all their staff and this, that, and the third being over like 5,000 people that have to participate in this situation, is including everybody that's kind of in the facilities and working and whatever with these players. That's pretty darn good that the NFL has done such a good job. And I really personally don't believe they're going to shut down for any reason. I don't think if a situation comes up where they do, randomly get like a large amount of players that are going to test positive, I just think the NFL is going to end their season early. I think they're going to have literally week 1, which is supposed to start on September 10th. It's going to start, and then we are going to end around New Year's Eve, yes, like we normally do. It's going to be a regular season for this league, period. The interesting thing is, obviously yesterday we talked about Kirk Cousins, and I feel like this is the difference that's going to be made in the league. So obviously Kirk Cousins said, what he said about if he dies, he dies, and all this kind of like whatever crap that I actually don't believe he actually believes or thinks or will actually do, because my guy, there are actually people really dying. Like, yes, the CDC quietly came out with the updated numbers for COVID and said only 6% of all the deaths we've had from COVID have been from COVID alone. Everybody else has had diseases or things, underlying things where they were going to pass away anyway, or whatever the case is. And there's only been 6%, which 6% is still a number. That still means thousands of people have died from COVID, and that is very unfortunate. So I don't want to put it as an only thing, but 6% is a very small number considering other, diseases and what their percentage is of passing away from diseases. So 6% is a small number considering we're in a whole pandemic because of this. So Kirk Cousins came out, said what he said, whatever. Yeah, you probably won't die. But Ezekiel Elliott said, it ain't about you, bruh. It ain't even about me. He actually, in a statement with the Dallas Morning News, Leo, I don't remember if we actually got that thing. Yes. Okay. So he said, we are all here to play football. We're not going to do anything to jeopardize that. It's really not about you. It's about the guy next to you. You don't want to get that guy sick. You don't want to have him going home to his family and get it. It's more of an accountability thing, just keeping each other accountable. Thank you, Ezekiel Elliott, because Kirk Cousins, who is supposed to be the leader of his team, does not think the same way. He said, obviously, you don't like the mask thing, and he's obviously very part of the Trump campaign, and this disease or this thing is not really that big of an issue. And I get Kirk Cousins said that we'll follow the protocols. But, if you're not really taking stuff serious once you leave that football field for the day and you're continuing on with the rest of your day, because technically you're not in a training camp situation where you have to then go stay and sleep there with your teammates and just eat with your teammates and stuff, you're going on with your regular life. That's not good. Like, you're not keeping your team safe in this situation. And honestly, I feel like that is something that should be considered detrimental to the league, because you know how the league likes to fine and suspend players for doing things that's detrimental to the league. What is more detrimental to the league than possibly ending the season for all the players because you decide to go not listen to the protocols that you were given by not just your team, not just the league, but the CDC? Like, how about that, my guy? Like, I think Kirk Cousins, honestly, just for his comment alone, should get a fine for that, because that is something that's detrimental to the league. And honestly, if more people thought like him, I could be sitting here saying that we probably won't have a NFL season. But I honestly really believe most people are on the same side that Ezekiel Elliott is, just because, if not that they actually care about people's lives, but because of the simple fact that they care about their money. Like, these are players that do not have guaranteed contracts. There are a lot of players who do not make a lot of money. We all know league minimum in the NFL is around $300,000. Take half of that for taxes. They're getting $150,000. Plus, now since they're in the league, they got all their people coming for them, asking them for change, because everybody's in a pandemic now and they ain't making money. So they're going to ask these NFL players that aren't making that much more than they are for some cash. And these people got to take care of their families and their hood and their whatever they want to do. So they are going to do that. They want to take care of their community because now they're the one that made it out. And they had a bunch of people that helped them make it to that point. So for that reason alone, forget if people care about if, COVID is real or they're scared of giving it to people. These NFL players are not playing games. They are not going to not. And I mean, they are playing games, but they're not playing games with COVID, because I don't think that they want to risk their money. I really don't. Like, most of these guys literally play every single day, not knowing if they're going to get to a chance to play tomorrow, if they're going to even get a check tomorrow, because they could get hurt. And then there goes their contract. Their guaranteed money in the NFL, we all know, is not guaranteed. Ask Antonio Brown. that money is not actually guaranteed money. They put so many different stipulations and stuff in your contract where your guaranteed money could also very well be not guaranteed if the team decides to do that. So I think this season we will have 17-week season, 16 games played between all the teams, just because of the fact that I think these players know that they need to get their bread and they're going to do it while they can do it. Chris, my question is going to be to you. Really easy, simple, quick question. You think we get in a full NFL season, or do you think something's going to happen that's going to halt the season at some point?
Oh, man. Oh, boy. I'm hoping we get a full NFL season because I'm sure there are other Kirk Cousins or Ken Cousins in the league right now. So I'm a little worried. I'm a little skeptical, but I'm going to keep the same energy with you. I'm going to keep that optimism because I would like a full season. So I will hope that there is a full season this year. But we'll see. We'll see, man, because Kirk Cousins, and I'm glad Zeke said something because Kirk Cousins' comment wasn't just stupid. It was just ignorant. And that's what I think irritated everybody when he said what he said.
Detrimental to the league, Roger Goodell. I need a fine.
So,
I need a fine for that.
Something, man. Something. But I'm hoping so, Britt Johnson. I'm staying optimistic.
I appreciate that, Chris. Well, I'm going to go to our resident pessimist on the panel. Jackie, you think we get in a full NFL season, girl?
That me?
Yes,
That's me? I do think we'll get a full NFL season, but I don't think it's going to be without hiccups. I definitely think there's going to be something else coming along down the line. I think that there's going to be that second wave that everyone's been talking about. But I do think that even if he doesn't win 45, we'll make it a point to figure out some sort of way to make sure the NFL can continue the same way he's doing with college football. He's trying to step in that matter, and we all know that all the owners are besties with him, and they would push him to be make that his final thing, even if he's on his way out. So I think either way, we're going to have either government interference step in, or prayerfully we don't have that second wave and everything goes great and we'll just have an NFL season. But I'm actually pulling for a full season as well.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And then, I mean, to that point, like, even, if he's voted out, he technically still is technically president till second week or third week of January.
Exactly. So he has time. He has time.
Yeah, I don't think the NFL season is going to be, even if we do get the second wave or anything else happens in that situation, I think the NFL has no plan to say we ain't playing. I think they're going to play through whatever. They're going to, oh, cool, well, let's bring some other guys up. Let's all those guys that got cut when we had to go from 80 to 90, y'all come get a job now. I think they're going to do whatever they have to do to make sure the season is there and it is a complete NFL season. So, congratulations, everybody. I think we're going to have a full 17-week NFL season and playoffs and Super Bowl. So that is it for Britt's Take today. And
I bet they're going to have Super Bowl with fans in the stand. I just want to make that bet right now. The Super Bowl is going to have fans in the stands. You watch, because they're not trying to lose the fans' money.
It has to. Yeah.
Super Bowl next year because it's in Tampa, and one of my best friends lives in Tampa, and she said I could stay with her. So I'm supposed to be there next year, and I need to be there.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Well, I'm eager to get this 3-day weekend started. So let's wrap up the show. Subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, leave a comment below, share it with your friends, wash your hands, wear a mask, and have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Happy Labor Day weekend.
Ooh, yeah.
That was for you, Robert. She did it for you.
That was.